Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I have a compact 3CX JCB backhoe, basically. So it's a ride-on. It's for the little guys and girls out there, 12 plus years old. It's 12 volts. Let's open up, see everything, and we get inside. And my grandson is going to absolutely love this, and I'm sure your child will too. And pretty awesome. It is awesome to look at already. So that's inside the box. Box isn't too heavy. I was able to carry it by myself. However, always a good idea to have someone help you. That is awesome. And let me get everything out, and then I will. So that's the seat, some other parts. Okay, so kind of give you an A and a B option, it looks like. We're going to do the A just to make it really cool looking. So these are your parts lists. So that's going to be all your prep work. So there seems like there is a lot of steps to this. So I'll be configuration A. So it looks like that just is a continuation of what we do to build, set up the remote. Looks like it needs two AAA batteries. And then we'll go through it step by step, so stay tuned. Okay, it looks like step one is going to be prepping this to open up, or basically turn power on. So the battery is located in this compartment here. And let's get that opened up. It may screws out, but anyway. So this front part is going to have the battery in here, and then you are basically connecting the two halves together. And it's pretty simple. It only goes on one way. Kind of give you an idea. So that is where that back panel is. And it was set to on. We're basically hitting it off on the power button. I'll give you an overview of everything when we are done. Okay, so we're going to flip this upside down. And then basically we are going to be connecting the front wheels to this mechanism here. Okay, so there is a washer here you're leaving in place, and then you're going to have the back part of the wheel, kind of give you an idea. And then we're going to put that on the front. And then there's another washer. And then there is a, looks like it's going to be a an 8mm. And it does come with a tool, so you can tighten that down with. So yeah, that's your 8mm tool. So that's installed. Get this one undone. Push that washer in. Push that front wheel on. Washer and then a nut. Pretty simple. Okay. You have the longer of the axle is going to be what we're going to put on through the back. And you got to unscrew both sides of the axle and slide that through. And it looks like we are keeping the zip ties in place for now. Okay, it says not to cut the zip ties. However, I don't see a way to line the axle up properly without doing that. Okay, so just make sure you're not bumping that around and loosening that too much. All right, so now we're putting the wheels on, and then you'll see it slip into the shaft in the back. And what I mean by that is it has that like white drive part. You'll kind of understand once you're there, but you want to make sure that the wheels line up with the motor so that can engage properly. And then we're putting these nuts on. And then you are going to have 2 wrenches that you're going to be using on either side. Since this shaft moves through the motor, you want to make sure that it has a direct connection through there. So basically, one goes clockwise, the other one goes counterclockwise. So on here, if you're looking at the orientation, this side I'm turning clockwise, this side I'm turning kind of counterclockwise, if that makes sense. But if you, once you start doing it, you'll see how it goes. And then we are making sure we are tight enough in here. Okay, so we're secure there. So part B, kind of like these little hubcaps. They will go into the back wheel. Kind of more decorative than anything else. Okay, so that's done. Okay, looks like you need 2 AA batteries for the steering wheel. So we're going to take this compartment out to confirm that, and then go get some batteries. And yes, that is confirmed, 2 AA. And I'm going to grab the 2 AAA for the remote while we're at it. So, okay, so we're inserting the AA's. So that gives you the horn. Very important. Then there is a steering column piece. It goes like this. And it looks like it will only fit one way. So that goes on like that. Snaps into place. And make sure it's locked. Try to pull it out, and then we're good to go. Okay, next we're going to turn the tractor basically upright. And I think we're done on the bottom of this guy. Okay, so steering wheel kind of goes basically like this. Oh, and there is a little bit of a steering shaft here that we're going to have to undo. So unwind this. As you're turning it, the screw will fall, and the bolt and nut will fall down. So we gotta push that, pull that out, and then we are gonna set this up. And And then you're gonna basically just push that down, try not to hit the horn, which you're gonna do. Okay. So make sure your wheels are straight. And then you put this nut through the steering column. And kind of wiggle it back and forth, you know, kind of feel it, find its home. And then you put the nut back on this side. Then hold it with your finger as you turn it with your screwdriver. And then basically you'll feel it engage. Okay, so you're good. So test it. Make sure that you have good alignment on that. Okay, next is gonna be the front loader part. So you need your bucket. And you got your one side. These are the bucket supports. Looks like they're kind of almost all the same. This one's a little bit different. So that's an F. That's an F right there. And then this little one here at the bottom is your I. So I guess that's gonna go, it only goes one way. So it's a triangle, chicken triangle. So that's kind of how that configuration looks. Then you get a bag of these smaller screws. And that's, looks like how this will sandwich in between all these. Okay, so it kind of looks like that. Let's put these screws in. And we kind of hold this together. Try to hold together. We'll flip it over and we'll basically rinse, repeat. Okay. So there you go. Then you get your bucket. Kind of slides into these quick connects. So, and it does say it has a max load of 6 pounds. So definitely keep that in mind. And I guess that's how the handles articulate on that. So pretty cool. This one does your bucket. Then this one will do kind of like the bucket motion. And then to put the bucket on, it has L, which seems to be like these silver looking screws that are in this packet. So we'll get that out. And that's what will hold that bucket into place. Okay, so that's where those silver screws go, right there, and that's kind of what will hold that bucket safely in place. And then just look at this overall, make sure everything looks good. Next, you have the smaller axle, which is going to fasten the bucket to the front. So the hole is right here, kind of like in the front. obviously you got to pull this out, but kind of line that up and you'll see. So we'll put it through one end of that. Okay, and then turn that pivot point, that little mini axle. Then you put your washer, and then you have your nut. 8mm, so you'll be using the same wrenches. Okay, secure that down. Okay, looks like that's good. And like I said, that's the handle for that side. Then this is the handle for the bucket. Or do I have that backwards? I do. Okay, so that is your bucket, the right side. And then this will lift the front end up and down. So, very cool. So it looks like it's a three-way seat, pretty cool. And it kind of tilts forward like this and then pushes down into place. So pretty quick and easy. Make sure your child wears the seat restraint. Okay, next you need this little part, which is going to be the backhoe part. And you do have this little wheel configuration. So that is going to go basically down into this little well like that. So it wheels out. You can kind of see where that fits. And then these are kind of like the sturdier J bolts or screws. I keep saying bolts, but hopefully everybody knows what I mean out there. So this is going to take a little finagling to get this in here. So again, that's how that should look. So kind of give you an idea. That is going to slide on to the back of that, like that, and you'll feel it. And then you have a bunch of screw holes that you got to do here. And again, these are the bigger J screws, and it looks like it's lined up pretty good that I can get in here. Okay, next is the digging arm. So we have to basically undo this bolt here to get that to attach onto that piece. So I'm going to use my tool. Kind of extract that out and hold my finger over the nut area so we don't lose that. And then we're going to push this right back into place and then slowly feed this through. Okay, I think that's good and tight. So that is your dig arm. Very cool. Okay, so we're going to insert this here. And it's going to take a little bit of force. Push this down. There you go. Nice and in place. And then there is going to be a spot here for your two knobs, or handles knobs. So you kind of push that in, line that up. In place. So that gives you that action right there. So very cool. That is your pull up, then the articulation of the scoop. Very cool. Okay, next is going to be your canopy. So let's see how that works. So you got these two big canopy supports. This is the other pack. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out the orientation. So I guess that's going to be your tail lights in the back there. Then this is going to be your front, which are going to basically kind of go in there like that. So we can configure this like this. Oh, so it's actually labeled on here to match up. So that's R1. R1 fits in like that. You'll kind of see the logos, but it's R1, R1. L2. So L2 goes here. So this is really helpful because I was getting kind of confused on where to actually mount these at. Okay, that's that one. Then this one goes over L1 to L1. Okay, and then these are those smaller screws. We have a bunch of them left over. Okay, and you do get a piece here. Goes in the front. Oh, okay, so this piece kind of goes in the front here. I'll give you a good look when we have everything assembled. But so you gotta kind of push that in here. And then you'll see where that lines up there. And then again, you'll see where it basically matches up on either side, as long as I have the tabs right. So that is that other little bonus support piece. So let's get all this set and lined up. These are gonna be the smaller screws. Okay, it looks like that all lines up. Again, smaller screws on here. Very cool. So canopy is done. So let's basically line that up to where I think it goes like this. And basically slide that down. We'll set up the back. Set that down. Push everything. Front snaps in. And then in back there are 4 screws to put in. You have some plugs in case you don't want to attach the canopy. And how awesome is that? Okay, let me get this charged up. I'll give you a close-up peek of where everything gets plugged in and how it gets charged. So that is your charger. Okay, so your charger is here, and then how you charge it is basically you open up this little door and you have your connection here. So basically push down this tab, disconnect, and then your charger basically will go and fit like that. Plug that in and then you're good to charge. And then let's set up the remote control. Okay, so that is your remote control. So let's open this up. Pull it out of the box. So that's everything that's on it. That is your access to your battery. So let's get that undone. So that opens that up. Then you install your batteries. Like so. that battery compartment back on. Make sure you put the screw back in. Make sure you keep the little ones out of that compartment. Okay, we're good to go. And basically that's active. So this little compartment turns it on. Then you have high, low, forward, backwards. But basically, it's basically, I won't go too far. But you can see, automatically connects, and I don't want to drive off my table. Anyway, so let's go give this to my grandson and see what he thinks.
That pile of snow up there. A big pile.
Pretty cool.
All right.
All right, you ready? So is that like Gert's tractor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit smaller. Anyway, pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go inside. You guys
Okay.
Inside. You have one more.
All right, show me how it does in the snow. Ready? Go.
Go.
You got it? There you go.
I have a chance too.
I know. All right. Finish plowing the driveway. Doing a good job. There you go. All right. Looks pretty good in the snow. Oh, that's it? Okay.